Hello, and welcome to another episode of Brettcast Movie and TV Talk. So, as I have already taken a look at whenever the last trailer for the Bumblebee movie was, and reacted to it and all that, so now I want to pose a question and have a discussion. So, the question is, if the Bumblebee movie can save the Transformers movie franchise. Let's take a look at this franchise in an objective manner here. So, the first movie in 2007, simply titled Transformers, is clearly the best of the movies. There's no arguing that at all. Now, it's not perfect by any means, but it's still the best out of all 5 of the current movies. It's also the movie that has the best critical reception, but still isn't that good for a movie. Now, back in 2007, that Transformers movie was a huge deal for CGI and for being the first time we see the Transformers in live action, like ever. Now, the designs for the Transformers themselves was then argued, and obviously still is now. If you didn't know, we were close to not getting Peter Cullen for the voice of Optimus Prime, but we the fans petitioned Bay to make it happen. Even though we had to wait a few movies for Frank Welker to voice Megatron. The Autobots were colorful enough to know who they were, but the Decepticons were still harder to tell apart, especially in an action sequence. That's something that really needed to be fixed, and again, Bay chose to ignore it. Some of the Decepticon designs were cool, like Barricade, Blackout, and Brawl, for me personally, are very cool looking. Clearly though, that after the first Transformers movie, this franchise went downhill quickly, and Bay did nothing about it. Now, in my opinion, Dark of the Moon was a pretty good movie, right there as number 2 to the 2007 movie. Then Age of Extinction happened and changed the design of Optimus Prime to an even worse design and got rid of Decepticons in favor of KSI drones, and they don't really transform, and cut the number of Autobot transformation scenes just like Optimus Prime and Bumblebee, and that's it. You can also see that Age of Extinction and The Last Knight had very low critical reception, but they still made a lot of money because they filmed huge portions of Age of Extinction in China, and they marketed the hell out of that movie in China. But Last Knight is probably the point where people are saying that they've had enough of these movies, and this franchise as a whole. That movie was a mess of so-called plot and really felt like Bay threw everything he could into the movie. But why are we talking about those movies when this is supposed to be about the Bumblebee movie? Well, as many of you have seen from the trailer, there's some kind of scene on Cybertron that shows many Transformer characters but in their G1 character designs versus the Bay designs. Now yes, we're all aware that back in 2007 we were fine with Bay's designs because there's no way that the G1 designs could work in live action, right? Yeah, well, we said that. Now, 6 movies later, we're like, holy crap, the G1 designs work in live action. And they look fantastic, and this is what we've always wanted. But it's not only that. We have Bumblebee, who's in the Beetle mode like G1, and people are happy about that. Even the new characters, Shatter and Dropkick, don't look that bad either. The only mess up right now on Bumblebee's movie is the whole it's not Starscream but Blitzwing thing that everyone was mad about, and people that went out and assumed it was Starscream were all made fools of, and because they were wrong. But I don't feel bad for them because they should have waited before official confirmation before just assuming who the character was going to be. I'm also thinking that in terms of a story standpoint too, that this movie is going to have much more of a personal story, more grounded in the connection between Bumblebee and Charlie. I also want to add that I think as of now, Charlie is much more likable and relatable over Sam and Cade were in the previous movies, so I don't think that the Bumblebee... do I think that the Bumblebee movie can save this franchise? I believe it has the potential to do that very thing, yes. It all depends on how good the movie is, how many people go see it, and how many people are not tired of the franchise yet. They are kind of doing like Star Wars, where The Last Night, one of the worst Transformers movies yet, came out late last year, and then they have their new movie coming out late this year. Star Wars did that with the release of The Last Jedi and then Solo a few months later. The bigger question still remains is this going to be a reboot? I don't think so, as after this they don't have any Transformers movies planned for a couple of years, but I feel like that if this movie does well, it will probably get to work on something sooner than later. Hopefully if Bumblebee does well, then Paramount will realize that people don't want Bay for these movies, and they will not bring him back ever. So I don't think there's actually a solid answer for the reboot question as of now. And it doesn't help that a while ago Hasbro and Paramount put out a picture that was their upcoming film schedule, which included Micronauts, G.I. Joe, and Dungeons & Dragons, and nowhere did it mention Transformers movie after Bumblebee. It had an untitled Hasbro/Paramount event movie in like 2021, but who knows what that'll mean until 2021. I mean, it could be another Transformers movie, or given that Micronauts and G.I. Joe are on their schedule, perhaps the 2021 movie could be a movie with the Transformers, Micronauts, and G.I. Joe in it, like they've done in the world of comic books with their, kind of shared Hasbro universe thing. Well, that's all I have to say, so if you want to add to the conversation, leave a comment below. As always, thanks for listening, and goodbye.